Sonja Kvale, and I wanted to tell you some things that have been happening in my life since we moved here to Bella Vista. When I grew up, I was in a home that was a religious home. My mother was a choir director, she was an organist. My dad had been part of the founding leadership of the church. He was an usher. He sang in my mother's choir. The only time that my family read the Bible together was Christmas Eve, when my dad would read Luke 2, when Quirinius was governor of Syria, blah, 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 blah. And I, every year, until I basically knew chapter 2 by heart. But we never read the Bible together. That was disturbing to me when my mother died, and I realized I needed to have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ in my own life. And when we moved here to Bella Vista, I have encountered 2 instances at Christmas time that have really, really made me ponder. And I think it's something we all need to think about. There was a young man in the Dallas-Plano area who was a clerk in a Hallmark shop. My friend went in there to buy a Christmas gift for a young boy in the neighborhood. She wanted the Christmas story. He brought her over to the shelf and he said, "Here they are." And it was Frosty the Snowman and How the Grinch Stole Christmas, blah, blah, blah. And she said, "No, I want the Christmas story." He said, "Lady, these are the Christmas stories." She said, No, I want the Christmas story." He said, "What do you mean?" And she said, "The birth of Jesus Christ." And he said, "What's that got to do with Christmas?" Now, this was a young man in his teens, and the next day, my friend went back and gave him a Bible. And she said, "I want you to read Luke 2 and then read some of the rest of it too, because here you will find out what Christmas is all about." The young man ended up in tears. He said, "My neighbor kids had Bibles, but I never had one." And he said, "Now I have my own, and now I know what you're talking about." One of my extended family members went out to California for Christmas, and when she asked, "Which church are we going to go to for Christmas?" the young adolescent girl in the family said, "What do you want to go to church for Christmas?" And she said, "It's Jesus' birthday." Then another incident that happened to me is at Christmas time is that we usually have a little domestic squabble at our house when we put up a Christmas tree about, well, it's a little bit that way or it's a little bit that way. No, just, well, one year in exasperation, after it was all said and done, I laid down under the Christmas tree and looked up and I thought, oh, what a mess. All these boxes all around here, all this junk we've hauling out from boxes. What do we do all this for? And I was really down and really discouraged, and I looked up into the Christmas tree at all the different ornaments, and I realized that each one of them was there because of Jesus. The red, the green. The red is the blood. Jesus gave his life for us that we could worship him. The green represents the everlasting eternity that we have with him. That's why we have green Christmas trees. The bells, to celebrate, to praise. The star. The lights, because he is the light of the world. What I would encourage each one of you to do in your own families is figure out how you want to celebrate Jesus this year, because this is what it's all about. Jesus is the reason for the season.